G'day guys, welcome to the Forged by the Fire podcast. As you can see, we got a new set, which is super exciting. Slowly coming together. Thanks for all your feedback and engagement. Today we're sitting down and having a chat with Joe, who's one of the regular voices on here, but today we're making a bit more of a point of going into a bit about him and the experience and stuff that he brings to the panel. So I've really enjoyed it, learnt so much through his stories about humility and gratitude, about how to control the controllables, and making sure that you don't get put off by setbacks. That's definitely the theme of the day, eh, Joe? Yeah, man. So thanks heaps for sharing your story, man. I've loved it. I've enjoyed it heaps.
I guess if anyone's got any questions for part 2,
yeah, man,
put them in the comments or
absolutely
ask them.
Love it. I love that.
Happy to share what people want to know.
Cool. Drop your questions. We got time to speak with Joe. So definitely, I love that. If you've got anything you want to know from part 1 that we can address in part 2, get in touch and feel free to share with your friends and community if you reckon people might enjoy this. But enjoy the story. It's been fun. Cheers, guys. Yeah, how are you?
Good.
Welcome.
Thanks.
Welcome.
Back again, different location.
I know.
Multiple changes.
So yeah, I know. What do you reckon, huh?
Yeah, it's getting there.
Certainly.
It's got potential.
Yeah, I feel like it's a great step in the right direction. I'm really stoked about it, actually. But it's real cool. So huge thanks to everyone who's been involved in getting this sorted out and creating this opportunity. It's been awesome. And much to look forward to in that space. And on that note, on the shout outs, just want to thank all the people that are really engaging with the platform. We've had some really cool feedback recently, and some folks around the country doing some really cool stuff. Some folks that are involved in Te Kiwi Maya doing that walk to Warkworth, was it?
Shit, where are they walking from?
Let me check. It's a Te Kiwi Maya thing. They're going, it's called One Foot in Front of the Other. And they are walking from, Otaki to Dannevirke. A paramedic down there got in touch with me by the name of, where's his name gone? Charles. I think everyone knows him as Chuckles. So real cool to hear from him and what he's doing. And big shout out to you, bro.
It's a monster effort.
All the best with that. I think he's a good friend of Dunny's who's been on here regularly. So if we ever get the chance to have Chuckles on, that'd be cool. That'd be really cool. Another guy in Auckland setting up some stuff. He's got a passion project going that hopefully, I think he's putting in a lot of effort into that and to get that off the ground. I think we will maybe share more details about that later. I don't know really where he's at as far as publicising. But just really, really cool engagement from people around the place. So thanks for all that. Thanks for your feedback, the encouragement to keep going. We're really looking for ways to engage and make it a real active and sort of interactive community for everyone doing this sort of stuff. So, keep it coming and keep your feedback coming as to what we can do to better engage with it too. So that's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
It's super cool, man.
Yeah, we're early on and getting that sort of engagement.
It's fresh and it's picking up and people are engaging, which is perfect.
Yeah.
That's what we wanted.
It's exciting, eh? It's really exciting. Yeah, so welcome to the week. I think today, Joe, obviously one-on-one, so I really appreciate just to go sort of over your story. You got a real powerful story to tell, really excited to sort of dig into what you have to share and might not. It's going to be a good chat, I reckon.
Yeah, sweet. Let's get into it.
Let's do it. First of all, broad question. Who's Joe?
Who's Joe?
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess what I perceive myself and what other people perceive can be very different, but I like to think of myself as I am now as a dad, husband, a colleague, whether people like that or not, like me or not, is different. I like to think that I'm an active, engaged father. I like spending time with my kids as much as I can.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And doing cool things with them, and supporting my wife, who's pretty active in a new job and kind of doing pretty well. So I don't know. And I'd like to think I'm a good friend to people when they need me. I don't know. Otherwise, I'm guessing. It's a very broad question. Just to be like, who are you? I'm Joe? No.
I think it's cool though, because I think that question often reflects, instantly gives you an idea of where your priorities are at. You'd start with husband and father, and that I think really, to the depth that I'd like to think of us as friends, and the depth that I know you,
Pretty sure we're friends.
I think so too, yeah. Last I checked. Haven't checked the Facebook status in a while. No. The depth, I know you, that is so true. I guess it's easy to see all these massive achievements you've gone around, you've smashed it, smashed the massive things in your life, and 100%. It's so easy to see that your top priorities are your family, and then being a present friend and present colleague. It's awesome, and I love that. That is so obvious. So,
cheers. I guess I've been pretty lucky to have some decent achievements while I was young. Haven't had to chase them so much now, and can put that priority into my family, which is cool.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So your story, as far as, I guess we can start there, right? Certainly not shy of a challenge. And I think as far as this podcast goes, that it is about taking on life's challenges, taking on life by the horns, and not shying away. Yeah. Where did that start? Where did your, we'll get into your willpower or whatever we call it, but to you, where do you think that came from? Where's the start?
Yeah. I guess the start is the start. As a kid, I was one of 4 kids, 2 older sisters and an older brother. My family were pretty active. We lived across the road from the swimming pool. We pretty much lived there, from as far as I can remember. And my siblings, every time they finished school, were at the pool, and I used to pretty much go with them. Mum and Dad. Dad was a cop. Mum, when I was really young, was a cleaner, and then went into working in a bakery. So as I got older, they were pretty busy. So it was kind of us kids looking after each other.
Yeah.
And we lived across the road from the pool. The lifeguards knew us. They were like family.
Cool.
And I think I just hated being left out. I think from as far as I can remember, I was trying to do everything that my siblings were doing, and them being quite a lot older than me. I guess I probably jumped a few levels and where my age group was, and just trying to chase the achievements that my siblings were doing, and swimming in the deep pool, doing flips off the thing. I was always just chasing what they were doing, and that just kept continuing into later life, even at primary school.
Yeah.
My siblings were all amazing swimmers, and so I chased that. And then brother was good at other stuff, so I chased that. Was constantly biking, rugby, or I don't know, I just wanted to be doing what all the older people were doing.
And was that with your siblings, was it purely competitive? Was it trying to beat, or was there you'd support each other and push each other forward?
Oh, they would definitely push me. I think they would. I probably had no limits, so they would see what I would do. I remember being super young and jumping off this massive diving board at Jelly Park in Christchurch.
Yeah.
I think it was probably only 5 meters, but when I was a kid, it felt like 15 or something. But
sure.
I remember jumping off there and looking across, and Mum was terrified, and my siblings were all in the pool going, "Go, Joe, go!" And I just jumped. I think I even did a flip. I was just like, I just had no fear, which was kind of cool. And then I've always, I don't know what it is. I've always been competitive, or just trying to be the best I can.
So it's not competitive to beat others. It's like, it sounds like more like competitive with yourself.
Yeah.
To push your limits.
Yeah. I like running at primary school. It didn't matter if I was in front by a meter or a K. Like, I would always just be going as hard as I could. Yeah. I don't know what that was. It was just.
I love that it's how far you were in front, not whether or not you were in front. Like I'm just so not athletic. They're like, oh yeah, I'm hanging around in like midfield to back. You're like, oh, it doesn't matter if I'm winning by this much or that much.
I don't know.
That's awesome.
I went to a small school.
Yeah.
So it probably wasn't hard, like not taken away from anyone else, but it wasn't like I was from a school of 200 kids in my year. I was from a school of like 20, so I wasn't having to beat that many people, but the drive was always there just to push myself as hard as I could. Like, I don't think I ever walked to school. I always ran with my backpack, or if I biked as hard as I could. I don't know. I think I'm just a bit mental, but
it's just a drive. Yeah. Insane. That's
I
awesome.
just like going fast.
Another cool little crossover I know we like talked about before. So your dad was a police officer in Turangi, right?
Yeah.
And so was mine, but just years after. We lived in the same police house, right?
I never lived there, but my family did. So I actually never lived in Turangi.
Yeah. My very earliest memories are of that house.
Yeah.
The little gap, like the gate in the fence, because the fence borders the police station.
Yeah.
And jumping through the fence and going and hanging out in the police station.
Yeah, that is crazy. But all my siblings lived there apart from me. Yeah.
It's so cool. It's funny, like the amount of people who have ties to Turangi, like a tiny little place. Yeah. Not really much reason to live there, but I feel like a lot of people you come across,
the 2 degrees of separation is pretty small. It's 1 degree of separation, really. Yeah. But it is wild to think that. Because probably would have only been 10 years difference, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. I think my dad was based there early 2000s, maybe the late 90s. I don't know. I was so small.
We would have
probably
been
worked out
80s.
how small I was.
I was born 87, and I think they'd just moved from Turangi down to Christchurch. Yeah, so
it's cool.
10, 15 years difference.
Place legacy there.
And it's probably still there too.
Yeah, I think, I'd drive past it. Whenever we're driving past Turangi, I'll duck in and have a little look.
I think that house can definitely tell some stories from what my father has told me. Yeah.
Amazing, eh?
There's some scary stuff happening, people turning up to the door with guns and... Yeah.
My dad had a massive German Shepherd, so I don't think we had too many issues at our gate. But man, it's such a complex little place to police, isn't it? It's, it's
a challenging little location, but it's a beautiful spot.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's real cool. And by the sounds of it too, like obviously I don't remember, but there is actually a beautiful community there as well, right? Yeah. No, that's awesome. Yeah. Sorry. Your childhood, eh? Like, so then where did I guess it's fairly obvious, but when did you set your eyes on Olympics?
It's quite young, actually. I was still at primary school. Trying to remember what Olympics it was. I should be able to do the math, but I was around 8 years old, I think. Maybe 7, and we were doing a project on the Olympics. And I just thought, man, that's so cool. Like, these people are incredible. Like, how sweet would it be to go to the Olympics? And I'm pretty sure I told my teacher I'm going to go one day. And I don't know if she believed me or not, or just like, I'm pretty sure 1,000 kids have probably said the same thing, but I kind of wasn't joking. I was, I had my eyes set on the Olympics. It was cool. Like, why wouldn't I go to that? I didn't know what sport. Like, I was playing rugby at the time. Rugby wasn't really in the Olympics then, so wasn't going to be that. But I just had it in my head I was going to go to the Olympics, and it didn't really matter what I was going to do. I never had a plan or anything. It just was in my head I was going to go to the Olympics, and carried on through school. And when I finally we moved from Christchurch up to Picton, started year 8, Queen Charlotte College. I think within the first month of being at school, we did the cross country. Didn't really know anyone, and I smashed that out. And then the head boy at the school told me I was going to start rowing. He pretty much just came up to me. Yeah. Was like, "You've done pretty good. You should start rowing." Okay. Nice. Yeah. So got told when and where. Went down to the rowing club. I was waiting outside the shed, and the coach turned up in his little Toyota Hilux, the 2-wheel drive one back in the day. Pulled up to me, wound down the window. He was like, "You here for the rowing?" I was like, "Yep, keen as." And he's like, "Oh, you'll be no good. You're too fucking small." Really? Then he carried on driving, and I was like, okay. Didn't know where to go from there, but...
Okay, so did you take that as a challenge, or...?
I don't know if he was laughing when he said it. I can't remember the exact kind of feel of it, but I kind of thought he was joking. But turns out he's probably pretty serious. But turned up, all the lads turned up, and I'm pretty sure it was like the start of winter, and like the first thing we ever did was like get out in singles into the harbour, and like all of us were just tipping out.
Which harbour?
In Picton Harbour.
Ouch! So that'd be like freezing cold.
I actually think I didn't tip out. I managed to stay in.
Far out.
And by staying in, that meant that I still had to get thrown in. So the seniors of the group grabbed us and chucked us off the wharf. Yeah. And I remember it was freezing, and I like hyperventilated, and they were all laughing at me. But it was fun. And honestly, those were some of the best days of rowing.
Yeah, right.
That I ever had. It was there was a big hierarchy. We kind of got beaten up by the older kids, and it wasn't kind of like today where you'd come home and your parents would go mad at whoever was doing it. Like you'd get beaten up, and then you'd come home and tell your parents, and they're like, "Oh, you probably deserved it." Do better, and you're like, "Okay, sweet." Yeah. But it was weird. Like those kind of challenges, I don't know. You could look back and think you're a victim, but I kind of just took it as a challenge to get better, and I don't know. Got more competitive, more resilience, mental toughness. It was like, I don't know. I think sometimes we protect our kids maybe a little bit too much of the struggles they can have at school. Yeah. But I think those hard times that you have at school teach us so much. Like it's rough at the time and it sucks. Yeah. But it also creates resilience and, I don't know, drive maybe. Yeah. You can take it either way.
Yeah. It's probably true, to whatever extent. I don't know. But like, yeah, I was doing a fair bit of reading and stuff. Got my 2 little ones, trying to work out how much is too much to like push them. Yeah, it seems like the satisfaction they get and I get as a parent seeing them like push through a challenge
when they overcome something.
This is like it's really small, like not even 2 years old, and she's already got the idea of like, you know, being able to push through and stuff. I think it's an awesome ability.
Yeah, I think sometimes we can mix our love for our children and protect them too much. It's a hard, like it's such a fine line because it can go either way. You can be too rough and then they hate you for life, or you can teach them some valuable lessons if done the right way. I don't know.
No, 100%. I agree. And I mean, like, this is where
I don't know what's right or wrong.
This show isn't scientific. Like,
No.
it's not, and that's what it is. Just our take. And my take on it would be, I totally agree. There is an extreme on one end where you will scar them forever, and there's an extreme on the other end where you protect them from everything, and they'll never.
And they're still scarred.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's right.
Then small things scar them.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
But then there's this like ground in the middle, and I don't know. I guess my take on it is that if you care about how they're gonna come out of it,
Yeah.
you don't need to worry about
The details.
Like that extreme of like,
Yeah.
oh, what if they hate me forever? It's like, well, you care and love for your child more than anyone else in the world does.
Yeah.
So
Surely they know that.
like-
Yeah.
have faith in the process, I suppose. I don't know. Like, yeah, I guess it's a constantly
Evolving. situation.
reevaluating, right? But yeah, no, I 100% agree. There's like, like a couple of things there. You are definitely the kind of person that when you say something like, tell your teacher I'm going to go to the Olympics, it's going to happen. And then also obviously what you were talking about at the end there where that and what would be considered bullying these days is like a challenge for you to press into. Is there not a formula, because I don't think life works like that, but a method you use or anything you could break down to sort of a bit more insight into how that works for you?
I don't know. There was no real formula. I guess my stubbornness was kind of what made me resist people that told me I couldn't do it. I don't know what the formula would be. It's like self-belief. It's pretty impressive, I guess, if I'm looking back at what I achieved, nearly on my, not on my own. I was with a really good community. I think that wasn't I think community is incredibly important to an upbringing of kids and people. If you're going through that challenge and you're not alone, and other people are going through the same situation as you, it becomes hard things become easier.
Yeah.
You're not just struggling by yourself. So looking back, the guys I trained with and the guys I rode with, they helped me become who I am.
Yeah.
I already had that stubbornness and I already had that drive, but they also had that as well.
Yeah.
And they also had that competitiveness. So we were always trying to outdo each other, which was fun. It was fun and hard.
Yeah. Iron sharpens iron, right?
Yeah. I remember doing a beep test and there were two of us just slogging it out and everyone else had given up.
Fire up.
And we just kept going and we got to a point where the coach just got so bored he stopped us.
Seriously, and a beep test.
He wanted to go home.
Holy, how long do you have to go to get?
I don't know.
That's insane.
Maybe they were just bored, but I think I can't remember. I feel like we were matching what the All Blacks were getting to.
Good stuff. Well,
I can't remember exactly. I feel like it was 16-8 or 18. We were getting high end of the beep test.
yeah.
Yeah, and everyone just wanted to go home. So he just stopped us and we drew, but yeah, stuff like that was fun. But coming back to what you were saying, is there a formula? I don't think there's actually a formula to anything. It's more...
Yeah, no, I agree. I guess it's...
There's definitely common trends.
Yeah. Sorry, man.
You were good.
Yeah.
I actually got interviewed after the Olympics by a guy called David Slyfield.
Yeah.
Who was looking into is there a common trend behind athletes and what it takes to be a gold medalist. Should really find that study
Yeah.
that he did.
Yeah, it sounds awesome.
And see what the results were.
Yeah. What's his name, sorry?
David Slyfield.
David Slyfield. Oh, look him up. Yeah, I agree that it's not a formula, because I don't think anyone could just like, oh, okay, I'll just think like Joe and get an Olympic gold medal. That's not not how it works.
I'll add these 4 things together and then I'll achieve that.
Yeah. No, not at all. But there are, as you say, like common threads, right?
There's trends, yeah.
Yeah. There's also things that worked for you that might work for someone else, but they also might have to find their own sort of system, I suppose. And I think, like, I don't know, from what I've observed in your story so far, it is that like youngest sibling sort of like just drive, and you learn to overcome at a very young age, and not perceive a disadvantage as something to give up over, but to like overcome. And I think that's seems to be a bit of a superpower.
It's kind of stubbornness, I guess, like drive and resilience.
Yeah.
And having people around you that like they'll challenge you, but they won't ever stop you.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I feel like my parents didn't want me to row that much because it was taking all my time and it was quite costly.
It's a huge commitment.
It was a massive commitment. But they would have never stopped me. I remember my mum asking, like, do you really think you want to do this? Like, do you really think you should keep doing this? And I was like, well, why wouldn't I? Like, I don't know. She's like, okay, carry on. Like,
yeah. And that's, I find it amazing because, like, I think for me, I'm such like a planned person. You know, like you say, I've committed to being in the Olympics. I didn't have a plan, but it was just going to happen.
Yeah.
For me, I'm like, I can't understand how that works. You know, like
I don't think that's normal for many people.
Yeah.
Like most people I've talked to that have been to the Olympics have had a plan, or they've had goals and set out things. I'm probably the weirdest one where I just go with the flow and it kind of happens. But I guess at the same time I'm pushing it. Like I'm not just sitting idle, waiting for it to happen.
And I think like even if that is how you work or not, for like me, there's still something to be learnt from that as far as like your ability just to be like, well, this is happening. Doesn't matter if I'm too short or, you know, like I'm going to put in the effort. And if you put in the hours, there's no excuses that there's, you know, like,
no.
Yeah, I think it's pretty impressive.
I guess for my rowing career, I don't fit the mold. Like the whole way through, coaches were telling me I was too short. Selectors were telling me I was too short.
Yeah.
Like it didn't seem to matter how many races I won. There was always someone telling me, oh, he'll still be no good at this. And I remember going to I went to under 18s and they kind of overlooked us, but we still won most of our races.
Yeah.
And then went to Mighty Cup, won multiple races, got a trial for the New Zealand team. Pretty much they didn't even trial us. They just said New Zealand scullers are too slow. Like,
wow.
That was kind of it. They wanted a men's 8 and that was their focus.
Wow.
And that happened another 3 years in a row.
Yeah.
Like we would turn up to trials, our parents would help fund it and pay all this money and they just wasted our time. We would go all the way down to Twizel, do the trial, and they would literally just be like, oh, well, like they wouldn't even trial us really.
Yeah.
We would just be there and they would use us. I remember one time they were like getting us to do the dishes and stuff for the men's 8 because they'd had a hard day on the water, and I was like, what are we doing? They were so focused on this boat that they wanted to reignite from the past. But yeah, we trialed and we were like maybe a second off the like one of the world's times, and they're like, oh, well, they'll be faster overseas. And I'm like, what do we have to do? And went to all 3 of the trials and never got selected once. And I was just like, nah, that's it. It's over.
Really?
I remember I saw it coming on the third, been to 2 trials and it happened every time. And then on the third trial, I saw it happening again. They were just overlooking us and not even giving us a shot.
Wow.
And I went and talked to the selectors. I was like, what are you doing? Are we going to do anything? And they're like, oh, no, don't worry about it. It's not going to be quick enough. So why did you even waste our time? So I just left. I got someone to drive me home. We left before the end of the trial.
Yeah.
And I was just like, what a waste.
Wow.
They'd gone out and do 1 or 2 time trials and they just said, nah, not good enough.
No matter
and we were still close to the times that they wanted. Yeah. And so I just was like, that's it. That's my rowing career done. And
wow.
Got Rob Hellstrom, former Olympian, to drive me home, who was down there. And that was me. I didn't know what to do. And then literally 10 days later, I got a phone call from a coach from the Marlborough region, and he pretty much said, if we could get you in the team right now, would you do it? Mm. And I really had to think about it. And
the team being that?
Into the New Zealand junior team.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think he gave me time to talk about it with my parents and stuff.
Yeah.
And I was just like, yep. Yeah. Straight off the bat, and rang him back, and he's like, well, good, because we've taken it to an ombudsman who's an adjudicator that looks back at the process to see if it was fair or not. And the ombudsman couldn't see a reason why we weren't selected.
Wow.
So me and my doubles partner from school got forced entry into the New Zealand junior team.
Whoa.
And we were sent up to Karapiro, and I think we might have had 7 weeks to train before the World Junior Champs.
With the team that had just openly rejected you?
Yeah, with the team that had openly rejected us and the federation that had openly rejected us. And I remember it being really tense when we turned up.
Yeah.
I remember we got given a new coach and he was super excited, and it was quite cool. But yeah, I remember it being quite awkward when we were there. Yeah. We weren't wanted, and they were like, well, you've been forced entry, but
wow,
this is your noose to hang yourself with, pretty much. And
is this with Nathan or?
No, hadn't even. We'd met Nathan. We'd raced. He was in the junior team as a.
Okay.
I think he was in the 8 for 1, and then he was sculling for another.
Yeah. Okay.
But Nathan was a prodigy.
Yeah. Right.
Back then, he was what I was trying to achieve.
Yeah.
He was a bit older than me, so kind of always in front.
Yeah. Again.
But yeah, when I was in the team, he'd gone to under 23s maybe. I can't remember where he was that year. But yeah, we went over in the double, and we ended up getting a 3rd at the World Juniors, and that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're in this boat that we'd never tried before. I can't remember the brand of it, but it was a boat I'd never rowed before, so it was quite different. Yeah, and racing against people that were twice as big as me. I guess that never changed, but when you're going to compete against on the world stage, people are a lot bigger than New Zealand. Yeah. But yeah, I remember getting that medal and was just stoked. And the selectors had come over to watch their prodigy boat of the men's A, and the men's A, I don't even think they made the A final.
Wow.
And I remember finishing the race, having the medal around my neck, and coming back to the hotel to get changed for the night, and the selectors were in the elevator and walking in, and they kind of just put their heads down. They couldn't even make eye contact with us. They couldn't even say congratulations.
Yeah.
It was,
wow.
Yeah, it was.
That'd be such a kick in the guts.
Yeah, it was, it wasn't a kick in the guts for me. It was quite nice.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. It was one of those moments where you know that you've done the right thing, and You should have been there from the start.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is an awesome story. How, like, going through that chapter then, like from the time, you know, you were in your team, got thrown in the ice cold water, all the way up till the point where you felt your career was done.
Yeah.
How did that, how many years was that?
That been probably only 4 years, 5 years.
That's a lot of time. So, like,
As a teenager, that's a lot of time.
It's huge.
Yeah. And I remember, like, just going on a side note, like, I remember the year of COVID and hearing that they'd cancelled the Māori Cup for all those teenagers.
Yeah.
And my wife was like, I was like, man, that sucks so much. And my wife was like, what does it matter? Like, it's a pandemic. Like, why should they care? And I'm like, man, as a teenager, when you dedicate to something, like, there's so much shit going on when you're a teenager.
Yeah.
And for a teenager to give up their time to focus on something like rowing, which takes a lot of your time and a lot of your focus and a lot of your energy, to then have it cancelled, like, that's insane. For, like, to me, I found that completely crazy that they would do that to them. And I understood, like, it's a pandemic, like, you have no choice, you can't be seen to be doing that. But the fact people were like, oh, it's not a big deal. And I'm like, man, I understood the hours that all those kids had put into that sport, and to have that taken away would have been so rough. Yeah.
So then, like, because I mean, that must be such a common journey for so many young athletes, right? Like, and well, not even just athletes though, right? Like, a lot of people have huge dreams in their teens, right? And then, I mean, ultimately what's not a very long time frame, 4 or 5 years, but at the time feels like your entire life work. What would your, like, I don't know, how do you reflect on that now? Like, obviously you got the miracle turnaround in your career. Man, this is annoying. You know, you got that miracle opportunity, but for you, how was that roller coaster? Who were the important people? Like, you mentioned the person you jumped in the car with. You know, like, that time, that moment of, okay, my career is done. Do you have any advice for people going through that stuff?
Yeah, it's a crazy moment. Like, I guess the thing that I was really lucky with is the people around me had noticed the work that I'd put in. It wasn't just someone, I guess I wasn't just someone that had this big dream and hadn't worked for it. And then it was taken away.
Yeah, I should probably caveat, because I said miracle turnaround, but it's not a miracle. You put in the effort, right?
It was good that people noticed what I'd done or achieved and the drive that I had, but also having the people around you that notice that as well. Like, it's the right people that see the drive that you have and the passion that you have and the work that you're putting in. So I guess it comes back to community as well. Like, yes, I'd done all those things, but I also had the community around me and that support to firstly do all those things and be able to have that drive, but also that support that when it got back, like, they'd been around enough to see what it meant to me and what should have been the other result. But yeah, like, I think Rob was still rowing at the time and hadn't got into coaching yet, but may have been coaching for the first time at under 18s. And I think he was pretty pissed about the situation as well, but he had also been overlooked many times. so probably understood completely where I was from. And then to have coaches from other schools in the area come together, like one of the guys, Dave Williamson, coached a girls' school. He didn't even coach a boys' school, but they had been noticing what had been going on and seeing it. So I will, like, it's not like I was a single person that had happened to. There were multiple people, and I saw it the whole way through my running career. If you didn't fit the egos of some coaches or the selectors, or you didn't bend over backwards for what they wanted, then you were just out. And I'm sure it doesn't happen in just rowing. Like, it happens, you hear about it in cycling, you hear about it in rugby. And it's devastating to hear that it can be someone in power that probably doesn't even need to be there calling the shots or ending someone's career. I think sometimes they take it a little bit too lightly. I think people don't.
Someone's dream.
Yeah, you're crushing someone's dream.
More like.
And maybe if you're getting rid of them or not selecting them, maybe give them something to work on, or like, you never know who's going to be the next.
Yeah. Well, that's what your story highlights, isn't it?
Yeah, it's so easy just to be like, oh, you weren't good enough, that's it. Like, I don't know. I feel like people need to be way more conscious of how they're...
Even just like the science in sports now, right? Like, you'd think the first thing you could do in a sport like that is like, all right, minimum height this, none of you will make it. You know, like...
Well, that's how they were doing it.
And you'd think that because of how sciencey sports is now, you'd think that they would stack up. But then you were proof that, like, doesn't stack up.
I don't fit any matrix.
Yeah.
I'm not good on the rowing machine. I haven't got a good VO2. Like,
right.
I don't know. Yeah. If you took all my data from what I could produce, selectors would probably be pretty disappointed.
Yeah. And I think that's what I like about the way you talk about it too, because I think you think about the sports you've been involved in, rowing and cycling and stuff. They are such, I look at them and you do think about them as, I guess, individual sports, you know, like it's just you and your head, you know, like that's, to me, those sports just seem like it's mind over matter stuff. And it's down to the athlete, them and their head. But the way you talk about it is still, even those sports that are such, you could 100% say, I did that, I did this, you know, but you still talk about community so much, the people around you so much. I think that's a really interesting factor, right? Where particularly those sports seem like individual sports, but you're saying it was that group around you that got you there.
I think, like, I don't know, you can pretty much say it to any athlete, like, athletes are pretty selfish at the end of the day, but not one person has done everything all on their own with no support or no help. Like, I don't know. I think there will be people that believe they did, but like, I don't know. There's so many factors as to why someone got to where they did. And it generally always comes down to someone believing in them and going the extra mile to help them.
I like back that up massively, because I feel like I've got people in my life that if anyone has pulled themselves up by their own bootstraps story, that you know the people really close to me, they're like, if anyone's got a story of starting with nothing and building something, I know them, and they don't claim that. They give credit to every person that just gave them an opportunity or gave them a chance, or, you know, like whatever it was, there's still a lineup of people in their lives. This isn't sporting related, but people in their lives that gave them a chance. And I think it's it's important not to be, I pulled myself up by my bootstraps. You know?
I guess, like, I don't know if I like the word, but it comes down to like gratitude. I don't know. I think it's important to understand the people that help you, not understand, but like be grateful for the people that help you, because that support that they give you also gives you the drive not to fail. Like I don't know. It's the extra push that you need, that you might let them down. And sometimes when you're in your darkest moment and you're pushing, and you can reflect on the people that have gone out of their way to help you.
Yeah.
Man, it can help you push even further.
Yeah.
I don't know. So it helps.
Awesome.
Like, you can't just do it by yourself, no matter what. Even if you're doing an individual sport, it's impossible to do it by yourself. There's always someone that's seen you, or like might give you support, be it money, be it sports equipment, be it just time.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. There's no one that's done it without a coach, or like someone's always helping.
Yeah.
So it's important to understand the passion they had, or the help that they gave you as well.
That's awesome. Like, I think particularly sports, right, is such a highlight, like an obvious example. I guess it really stands out. But like, it still comes down. I guess the credit is still you put in the hours, you did the rowing, like it's still your
Achievement.
Yeah, that's a good way of saying it. But yeah, as you say, knowing that it wasn't you alone, and that gratitude, right? Yeah. That's awesome. I love that. That's a cool chapter.
Yeah. I don't know. I weirdly don't like the word gratitude, but
why not?
There's nothing else that like fits.
Yeah.
I wish there was a simpler word, but it's just that. Like, I don't know. Even now, like I still go out for a row with mates and friends, but like I don't own the boats, and I've got people that are still supporting me and letting me do things that I'm super grateful for.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think, like, I guess another word might be like humility, right? I think that's probably what I see a lot of in what you live, is like just that like, again, if anyone could take credit for their achievements, it'd be you. Like, you've pushed through, we've just been over it. So many setbacks to achieve what you've done. But you just carry it with such humility, and I think that's awesome. And I think gratitude and humility probably maybe similar.
There's many words. There's many.
This is true. We can play it. Yeah. So then next chapter, next chapter, you're in that elevator with the selectors, like, and they got their head down. You're obviously like, you're knowing what's next, kind of thing. Yeah. So set your mind to it. You've gone through the lows. I'm sure there'd still be more lows to come, but there's also a heck of a lot of gold. Yeah. Take us through to that chapter.
Oh man, it just keeps going, but it also keeps coming as well. So got that medal. No longer eligible for under 19s. So then the next chapter was under 23s. I think, I can't remember what happened. I think I got sick that year. The year after junior champs. Man, I can't remember. What happened? I got glandular fever.
Oh, right.
Yeah. And I couldn't race. What happened after? Yeah, I went... Yeah, I thought everything was going to kind of kick off after getting a bronze medal and things were going to be on the up, but again, it just kind of didn't happen like that.
Wow.
I think I got sick and couldn't make it into an under 21 team that went to Aussie. I think I was actually competing against Nathan, and Nathan got the spot.
Oh, right. Okay.
But then I think Nathan ended up blowing his appendix.
Ooh.
Like just before racing, and then I got called up at the last minute to do that one. went over to Aussie and raced.
Yeah.
I think it went pretty well. But then after that, I think I did that 2 years in a row. Yeah, there's kind of a big gap between under 19 and under 23, and you kind of just don't go straight to under 23. But yeah, after that, went to another under 23 trial. Again, tried me for a sweet boat. Told us sculling wasn't going to be quick enough. Didn't make the sweet boat, so got sent to the reserve in the single, which I was pretty happy about, I guess. And then competed in the single with, I think, Emma Twigg was the women's single, Storm Maru was the lightweight single. Went overseas. I can't remember if Emma raced first or Storm raced first, but one of them raced first, won a gold, then Emma won a gold, and then they both came to me and was like, oh, it's your turn next. And was kind of like, shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, ended up racing, winning an under 23 gold medal.
Wow.
And even that night, I remember going out and was trying my luck with a few different girls. And Emma Twigg was coming up and telling everyone that like I was the lightweight, I wasn't the heavyweight single. And then everyone thought I was a liar, like because I looked too small.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was pretty funny. She was definitely blocking me that night. But yeah, it was funny. But I remember even coming back from winning a gold medal at under 23s, and the New Zealand coaches were like, oh, well, that was a fluke, really. Like, you were just at the right place at the right time. I'm like, come on, like, what do I have to do? Yeah.
Oh man, that'd be tired. Like, yeah. Tiring.
And then got sent to the reserve again in the single and won it again the next year. And then finally got, maybe I got put in the double for under 23s. That's right. Sorry. Before that, I wasn't reserve. I was in the double for under 23s. Okay. And my doubles partner got injured. Oh. So then I got put in the single. Okay. Yeah, so that's how that happened. Then the next year I was reserved for the 4, won that again. And then finally got put into a double. I trialled for the elite team in my last year of under 23s and didn't get in. They just kind of weren't looking at me. They wanted someone else. And then got sent in a double with Robbie Manson, and we won that again. So, yeah, won 3 under 23 world champs back to back. But all that time was still getting told that I wasn't good enough for elites or to carry on type thing. Yeah, and I think it was the last year I was in the single. I was training away by myself, and I got back to the shore, and one of the high performance managers came up to me, said, "Do you know where your passport is?" And I was like, "I think so." It should be at home, like in my bag where I was staying, and they were like, "One of the guys is injured in the double. We want you to go to the World Cup. You've got 3 hours to pack your shit and get up to Auckland." I was like, cool. Yeah, so pretty much boosted home, got my passport, and then someone drove me up to Auckland, jumped on a flight, flew straight into Schiphol in Amsterdam. And then that morning, pretty much went to the lake, and we were racing the next day. And that's the first time I got to row with Nathan in the double.
Yeah, right.
Properly, which was cool.
Wow.
And we ended up getting 5th at the World Cup, which was really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Considering, yeah.
I'm like remembering all the stuff that I keep forgetting.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was epic. And I don't think Nathan I think their top position had been like 6th or 8th, like in the final. Wow. And then all of a sudden we jumped up and made it into the A final on our first kind of row together. And it was kind of cool.
Because when you are on the start line of a rowing race, do you can you pretty well know the times, the order that lineup is going to be in?
No, you have no idea.
Yeah, right.
like you get progression,
Yeah.
but especially at World Champs or World Cups, like
People just perform out of their skin.
You have no idea what people are going to do.
Yeah, right.
You don't know if someone's going to set the world record that day or not. Like,
Wow.
and rowing's one of those sports you're either on or you're off. Like, you can have a shit day or a good day,
Wow.
depending on how your lead up has gone. So,
Is that mentality or physical? Physical.
both.
Yeah.
Like, if you haven't had a good sleep or you haven't eaten right, like, there's so many factors. And they can adjust to what you're doing. Like, you can't go into any race and be like, I know exactly what they're going to do. I guess you kind of can learn what their style is. I guess, going through that, like, got into the double with Nathan for that regatta, and then I just got pushed back out as soon as the other guy was able to row again. It was like, what do I have to do? But I was happy to have that opportunity, and it was cool. And then went off and won the single that year, and then still didn't make it back into the team. They kept the same guy back in the double the following year. Went in the double after getting told I wasn't very good in the double with someone, and won under 23s in the double. Like, it just, there was like stone ball after stone ball. But yeah, finally got to trial for the double properly. What was the, no, I'm forgetting a pretty important thing. The year I got sent in the double for under 23s, I had trialled for the Olympic double. But that year, Rob Waddell had come back from retirement and raced for the single, hadn't got the single and got the double. So that's how I ended up back in that under 23 double.
Oh, man.
Which I kind of understood because it was Rob Waddell. So it's like,
100%.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, I'm not going to get that one. But and then the next year got to trial again after Rob retired again. And I remember I had to race this one guy like 7 times, pretty much. And if he beat me, he was going to keep his seat. And I managed to get it, which was cool. And that was kind of the start of the career with Nathan. But even when I was succeeding, I was still getting thrown massive curveballs, and nothing was easy, or nothing like, not that things should be easy, but man, it looked like it was a lot easier to get into a team for some people than it was for me. But I guess I didn't fit the mold of being an athlete for rowing. Like, I was short, I was long back, short legs. My style was different. And even when I started rowing with Nathan, it took us a while to adjust and find our rhythm and our common ground. He really liked rating like a consistent 36. Which is stock standard, and I like to rate a lot higher. So we had some battles over that, and we definitely had challenges throughout our time together. But once we finally got together and got to race, things started kicking in.
That's awesome. Like, I feel like all those setbacks and stuff, all those stories, even the way you tell it, like, you'd have every right to be complaining about some of these decisions or bad mouthing some of these, I guess there's probably a whole lot of high profile people, and a lot of people would know their names, and you have every right to sit here and be like, I showed them, or that wasn't fair, or whatever it is. But that's not the tone you tell your story with at all. It's like they made their decisions and you just controlled, what's the saying? Is it like success happens when opportunity meets preparedness? Something like that? And you can just tell all through your story, no matter, they were making their decisions, that's fine, but you were just as prepared as possible. So every time, sounds like a lot of times, you got that like foot in the door, or you got that like opportunity. You were 100% primed and ready for it. You're just taking, I guess, is that like just owning owning what you did have control over. And you're just so well with it.
Don't get me wrong, I definitely badmouth people. And
like
I've learned along the way, like it doesn't achieve anything.
yeah, go into that. Like I would definitely recognize at the time that
Yeah,
but
at the time,
the way you reflect on it now.
Yeah, I guess at the time, like you don't know what else to do. Like your life's pretty singular when you're an athlete. Like you've just got one focus, and it's trying to do the best you can. And when people keep blocking you along the way, and you don't see the proper reason, or you don't understand why, it's pretty difficult. But
you obviously never use that as an excuse, because you were still ready when the opportunity came. It wasn't like, oh, that's not fair, I'm giving up. It's like, oh, it's not fair, but I'm doing the absolute best I can to be ready.
I guess I'd got like sucked into it. I was where I needed to be, and I couldn't really see another option as to what to do apart from win races and prove that I was good enough. And it must be so hard, because I've rode and competed with so many athletes that should have been in teams and deserved to be there as much as I was, but still didn't get that opportunity, or got overlooked for someone else that someone else liked. Like that must happen in sports so much. Like you're so close, and it's not in your control. Like it can be in your control as much as possible. And I remember getting told when I was quite young by Mike Rogers. I used to board with him when I was a junior. He wanted nothing to do with rowing back then, apart from taking me in as a boarder, but I've slowly got him back into it, and now he's a coach for New Zealand. But like his chat to me one day was just like, control the controllables. Stop getting angry about things that you can't do anything about. Like you can't control the weather, you can't control what people think, you can't do this and that. So don't stress about that. Just control what you can control. And that's always stuck with me. It's such a simple kind of mantra. How
old were you when, like, at what stage did that chat happen when you learned that?
18, 19.
Paid off in dividends.
Yeah, but like where we trained on Karapiro could be some of the shittest conditions or some of the best conditions. And I think, like looking back, it was amazing, because no matter where we went in the world, we'd had those conditions. Like Karapiro could throw everything at you. So
wow, that's cool.
Yeah, some days you're going out and training and it's crap and you're getting really grumpy about it, but what's the point in getting grumpy about weather? Like it's weather. You just got to go do it anyway. But yeah, I don't know if I'm trailing off now.
Yeah. I feel like there's still so much to go into, but man, I can't thank you enough for coming in and sharing that story. I think there's some really, I feel like there's awesome lessons through all of those chapters of, the first one, just not being afraid of the setbacks, and then seeing how that paid off later in your career, and controlling the controllables, and that, being mindful of the people you got around you, the community, and being grateful for that input and stuff. Amazing story, super cool. I really appreciate you sharing, man. We'll start to wrap up for the day. Is there anything else you want to add before we finish part one? What has turned into part one and needs a part two?
No, we're only touching. I don't know. I don't like this all being about me, but if people can get stuff from it, then it's important and it's cool.
100%. Yeah. And it's cool too, because like you're obviously going to be a regular voice on this platform going forward. So for people to get to know what's behind you, I think it's awesome. So thanks for sharing.